welcome to the Soulful Mamas podcast. You're with your host Maria, and you are so welcome here. I have just celebrated my daughter's 12th birthday, and I'm sharing this because it'll segue into who my guest is for today. I do believe, I have two children, and with my oldest son, that was the gateway into stepping on the path of who I truly am, what I'm here to do. But it wasn't until my daughter came a few years later that heart cracked right open, almost, in some really spiraling times and crazy scenarios that I think I fully got onto my path and what I'm supposed to do. I felt like I had purpose once I managed to climb a little bit higher up that mountain and out of the brambles below. And today's guest, her name is Mary Dibble, and gosh, this is a story that it's a beautiful story, because from where she has come from and what she has been through and overcome it's incredible, and it's really inspiring, and she just has this mission to show people that anything is possible regardless of your upbringing, what you've been through. You are not your story. And having her first child, her son, was that catalyst for change for her. It truly got her back on path. It gave her purpose and gave her life, really. It gave her back her life. She had come from a life of drug addiction, teen pregnancy, homelessness, completely low self-esteem and zero self-worth, to being on that precipice of abortion and choosing life and choosing her son. And it completely transformed her life and got her on the path that she is currently on. And Mary just lives life to the fullest. She's amazing. She really is amazing, and I'm really looking forward to you hearing her story. She's so generous in her sharing, and she's completely open, transparent, very vulnerable. But she does that because she's been there, and she wants to be able to help others as well. And you'll learn more about what she offers, and also the podcast that she has. It's an incredible story, everyone. So without further ado, I bring to you Mary. Mary, welcome to the Soulful Mamas podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Maria.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's so good to see your beautiful smile. I know the listeners can't, but hopefully they can feel your beautiful, radiant smile. Would you like to share a little bit about where you are, and a little bit who you are, and your entry into motherhood?
Yes. Oh, thank you again so much for having me. And so I'm Mary Dibble, and I am in Morganton, North Carolina. I was first a mom. I guess you could say I got pregnant when I was 19 and became a mom. I had my son when I was 20 technically, and then a month later turned 21. So I was quite young. It's funny because I never wanted kids, and the way things happened, the guy that I was with at the time, it was really new. We were not together very long. I always believed if I did get pregnant, I'd probably have an abortion because that's how much I didn't want kids. But there was something magical and powerful that happened to me when I was told that I was pregnant. I went to a free pregnancy clinic, and the guy I was with at the time, the father, he actually kind of left me there because something came up, and he So I was alone in that situation. And I remember the lady, her name was Wendy. She was so amazing. She took me in this room and we were together and I sat across from her. And I'll never forget. Yeah, I could just see it in her face. Then she told me I was pregnant, and I just heard this voice that said, Mary, you cannot abort this child. And I just lost it. I lost it. I cried. I bawled. I thought that it was the end of the world. I thought it was the worst thing. I didn't know what I was going to do. And leaving that situation, was really tough because me and him ended up getting into a fight and we broke up what I thought was one of our, kind of, how it is with couples. Sometimes you get in fights, you break up, you get back together kind of thing. I thought it was a situation where he just was overwhelmed with the news, but he wasn't, and he was really not for it. And about a week after he broke up with me, after finding out I was pregnant, I find out that he started dating somebody else. And come to find out, the somebody else is somebody we worked with because we also worked together at the time. So, yeah, so I had to go through my pregnancy, dating this guy with his new girlfriend, and they loved throwing that in my face. It wasn't until I was about 8 months pregnant that they finally broke up. I was very blessed, I will say, to have good friends around that time who supported me and helped me get through it because when you're pregnant, you're already going through a lot of hormonal changes. It was something that I was terrified. Here I am alone now. I was blessed to have my mom to be there for me, to support me through it. It was definitely a hard experience, being 19 years old. People who listen to my show, who know more about me, know I have a history where I came from drug addiction. So I had really worked so hard to already get so far to where I was. And to have this happen was just like a stomp on me, like, can't catch a break. However, I managed. When I was 8 months pregnant, after he broke up with her, he came back. And at first I thought, I'm naive. I'm 19 years old. I'm thinking, or well, at that time I'm 20 years old. But yeah, it's like I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe we can make this work. And, I had a dream. I've always dreamed of having the soulmate and the father that I never had. I wanted that for me and my kid. I did not want my kid to grow up without a father. And so, of course, I accepted him back. And he was there when my son was born, and his name was Josiah. And it's funny, actually, I named him Josiah Justin. I named him Justin after Justin Timberlake because I had the hugest crush on him my whole life. And just a little small bit, but it's funny, I get made fun of for that. But I did love Justin Timberlake. So I was like, I have to put his name in my kid's name. That's how ridiculously immature I was. But anyways, it's funny. But so yeah, having my son was absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me because when I actually saw him and held him, I didn't know love like that existed. And it really changed me in ways that I didn't even think possible. He gave me this sense of purpose that I needed because I already had such a hard life and really didn't care a lot about myself and about life. And it was great. It was amazing. And even though his dad ended up deciding, he'd rather, do drugs and pretty much disown him and act like he doesn't exist. It was a challenging time because yet again, to where I had thought we were going to make it work and we almost kind of seemed like we were going okay, he fell and he made his decision. And I made my decision that I was not going to have that in my life, not with my son this time. It was going to be different. I wanted to be there for him. He was my world. And after trying to chase him and trying to make it work, I finally let it go. And it was the best decision I ever made. And I'm so thankful for it because I was able to then focus on being a mom. And it was a very nerve-wracking journey that I had no idea what I was going to do or how I was going to do it. But you know what? You just figure it out. And it's so true. And I had great resources. That lady, Wendy, who had originally told me I was pregnant, ended up being like my therapist. I got to see her for free. She helped me. She was supportive of me. She was the one who gave me my first crib. She helped me in so many ways with my son. I will always forever be grateful for the support and just everything she did for me. My mom, especially, was a huge support during that time because we ended up living together after things really ended with the dad. And she just was practically like the second parent and helped me in any way that I needed. And she loved she loved the crap out of him. She loved yeah, she goes by Gma. She doesn't like the grandma name, so she goes by Gma. And I mean, even to this day, he's 15 years old now. He loves his Gma. They have a very beautiful bond. So yeah, that was a struggle in the beginning, and I had a lot to learn about myself. I'm in my 20s. I'm trying to figure it all out. I also had a very low self-esteem about myself. I didn't think I was beautiful. I didn't think I was worthy, good enough for anything. I didn't even really know my identity, honestly. I just kind of went with the flow with things and just let things be because that's how I thought it was meant to be. You just get the cards are handed to you and just deal with it. So it wasn't until I was introduced to a life coach that I really understood, the path of self-love, self-acceptance, that self-care and finding my purpose in life. So that was what really helped transition a lot within me and took me on a whole nother path. You know, Through having my first son, I already had made that commitment to quit everything. I quit a lot of it was my I guess you could say for somebody who dealt with addiction for a lot of her life, it was the final um thing on my plate that just finally gave me that strength to be like, never again will I let that have a hold on me. And I did. And I've still stuck to that. So thank God.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
I know it's been so long since I've touched like hardcore drugs. It's ridiculous. I can't believe I've even done that in my past. So, so it's like coming through that. I even went through one other kind of serious relationship within being, because I was a single mom for a long time. And then I met somebody and I thought that this guy, was, good and kind, but I never allowed myself to see the red flags that really he didn't care about my son. He wasn't accepting of him. So it was no surprise that that ended up being a disaster of a relationship. And after that was when I really started tuning in more into the life coaching world and realized that if I wanted to attract my soulmate, I needed to become the woman that was worthy. Not even worthy, but just who would I want to be if I had that ideal husband? If I met him, who do I want to be? I wanted to be confident. I wanted to be loving. I wanted to give him my all, all sorts of things. Also understanding and breaking down, like, well, what do I really want out of a man? Everyone has different wants and needs. Well, what do I want? So I kind of went on this exploration on for after that breakup because it really hurt me. It was hard. And I told myself I would never bring another man in my son's life unless he was the real deal, you
Mm.
know? So I went on this kind of soul searching thing, figure it out. And a little bit down the road, I remember being like, God, if you don't, because I had met up with a friend who I hadn't talked to in forever who lived in California. And there was a part of me that always dreamed of moving to California because I always dreamed of being an actress. And I told myself at that time in my life that, I had worked it out where I was going to take me and my son, go visit her. And I told God, I said, if I am not meant to live there and move there, I need a sign. I said, give me a sign that this is not the right move. I said, send me my soulmate. And I kind of said it kiddingly, but I kind of meant it at the same time, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a couple months later, I ended up joining Match.com. And from there, I ended up having the typical experience that I kind of perceived I would have as a bunch of, bogus situations, bad dates, things like that. And in the end, about a week before my time frame was done, this man reached out to me. And at first, he sent me a generic message, but then he followed up with a beautiful message about how, beautiful he thought I was, how great he loved my profile, and how he felt like we had a great connection. And if I would take the time to look at his and felt the same, he would love to get to know me better. And I did that. And I remember reading the words and thinking, oh my God, this is me. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And so the rest is history. We ended up connecting. I mean, this man, before I even met him, had me laughing so hard from text messages. It was awesome. And our first date was incredible. I just felt so different about him. He was great. And then a little after we started dating was when I had the California trip. Well, the girl that I was going to go see got hit by a car the week before we left. So she was on crutches. The weather in California was like the coldest it had ever been. So the whole trip, I was like not happy because if you know me, I do not like the cold. It was like almost the most disastrous type thing situation it could have been going there. So it was amazing how like things works out even when you don't realize it when you ask for it.
Hmm.
And it was like, don't get me wrong, I made the best of it. I had an amazing time with my son. I loved seeing her. It was great getting to see her. It sucks the situation that it would that things happened and went down, but we still had a great time overall. It just the things that mean a lot to me and the signs that I needed to see were clear. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I went back and I just yeah, we had 8 years together, 5 years marriages. We actually ended up having two more amazing children. So I had two more kids in my 30s. And what's beautiful about my experience with that is so we literally got pregnant the first tries each time, first of all.
Wow.
So when I made that decision to get my IUD out that we were going to get pregnant, I got pregnant right away. He says
Mhm.
it's because I'm brown. He's probably right. It's a joke, but we make fun because I'm half Puerto Rican, half Trinidad, so I got that ethnic in me. But yeah, it was beautiful. It's a great experience. We're very blessed, and I'm very grateful for it. But yes, we got pregnant with our first in 2018. We had just gotten married that June. We moved into our house that had burnt down. That's a whole nother story. We finally moved into our house. And yeah, that we moved in October. I got pregnant in November. And then I had my daughter and yeah, it was amazing. And I had the most beautiful pregnancy. I had just the belly. It was phenomenal. The labor was great. I didn't have any pains. God really showed up for me in that. The delivery was under 3 minutes each time. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was quite the beautiful experience. And my son, the firstborn, he actually ended up adopting. So I got my soulmate after all, and I got two more beautiful children out of it. And I love our lives. Now they're um 2 and 4. I have a son and now a daughter as
Hmm.
well. So yeah, and motherhood's so different now for me too. As you get older, you grow, you learn, you change, and I love the parenting that me and my husband bring together to the table for them
Hmm.
both because where I'm a little weak with certain areas, he's strong. And where he's a little different in his upbringing, I can bring a little bit of my perspectives and my ways. And we always find a way to meet in the middle and grow and learn from each other. And I think that's such a beautiful way to raise children because most importantly, I love the way they see us together.
Oh,
He is a flirt. He's always, holding me, loving me. We dance in the kitchen. He cooks dinner for me. He changes diapers. He helps give baths. I mean, we have such a great team effort in our marriage and in our relationship and our parenting. I truly hope that through that example, they will see what love is really meant to be like. Because I just didn't even know I could experience something like that.
oh, Mary, it's
Yeah.
just amazing. What an incredible, incredible journey, incredible story.
Thank you.
Wow. But what the big theme, that thread that I'm feeling from all of that is that you, when you asked, you actually listened and you followed those breadcrumbs, those offerings basically that God or was giving you because you were asking, that you actually didn't just throw it to the wind. You were like, I am here, I am listening, and showed me the
Yes.
sign, and you took action, and look what has the magic that has unfolded. This,
Yeah.
because your path could have looked so different. right now. Hey, it's incredible, and that you just were able to, you're strong enough to have that internal, that inner knowing of, there's more for me. There's more for me. And it sounds like your elder son was that gift,
Yeah.
that turning point in the road, that gift of, if you're not going to do it for yourself, because that's what happens when our self-esteem and sense of worth is low, you don't do it for yourself. You might want to, but you don't make the changes. But when you're doing it for another person, especially a human being that you happen to create, you find the
Yes.
courage and that strength, and you will do
Yes.
it. You move hell, high water, you will do it, and you did it. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's such
Thank
a tribute to your strength, and it, these blessings that have been bestowed upon you, if you like. It's all in your doing. You created
yeah.
this, so it's so beautiful. Wow.
Thank
And I know now you're using your life coaching work to, you've sort of channeled it into working more with mums, is that right, or parents? Is
Yes.
that is that the main impetus behind it? The experiences you've had to try and hold another's hand and guide them through it too?
Yeah. Exactly. And it's all about, I feel like we also we get so lost in the sauce with life and with, being a mom, being an employee, being a wife, whatnot, that we tend to also put ourselves on the back burners and well, mostly not our dreams, especially. And, it's not just ourselves, but our dreams. Like I just grew up in a very negative minded environment. I was made to believe that we're not allowed to dream big, that people like us don't get that kind of opportunity. You have to really work your butt off to struggle and get by, pretty much. And
Mhm.
it, as I've lived my life and fought very hard to overcome that, and have literally seen the evidence of so many people who have proven that wrong,
Mhm.
it's inspired me. And all I really want to do is help anyone that I can to believe the same about their own life, that they have all it takes, that they have the most unique, amazing potential, no matter where they come from or what they've been through. That does not have to define them, that does not have to stop them from living the life they want. I have had a crappy I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I've had my fun, I've had some amazing people along the way, but I've also had a lot of struggles and a lot of things that I could easily have allowed me to stay in the victim mentality of, like, woe is me, and this is why I'm never going to make it here, here, and there, and do this, this, and that. But instead, I chose to believe that, nah, I am meant for more. I've always known it. And I'm going to keep going until I figure out my place in this world and who I am and what I'm meant to do. And for me, the podcasting, the coaching, the inspiring others has been so fulfilling for me, that I just know more and more that it's truly who I'm meant to be. And I'm just going to keep learning and growing and reaching as many moms out there that I can to help them find their ways for their own life as well.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, and so true. And it's like walking alongside another mum when they don't recognize the Wendy's in their life, like your Wendy, and how amazing that she showed up again later on as well, not just that initial time. Um, and sometimes we don't recognize Wendy,
Yeah.
we don't,
Yeah.
that she's this little gift, that's been just perfect
Yes.
timing, that divine timing, that she's
Divine timing.
there.
Yeah.
And that even just the presence of her, or the words that she may have said, it's pivotal, because it's
Yeah.
like, which way are you turning, left or right, the type thing, or you're
Yes.
just going to continue straight ahead. Yeah, sometimes we don't know to recognize these little gifts. So I think that's where the work that you do, and you're walking alongside these women, and you have
fully walked the path and more. Like, you have been through so much. And so people listening, you'll get all the details, but do go and listen to Mary's podcast beginning episodes, and where she shares her story. It's incredible and inspiring, and you'll just think, oh my gosh, was this amazing. How
Thank
did
you.
she get
Thank
to
you.
where she is now? But
Yeah.
through what you're saying, that knowing that you've always known, when you said I've always known, so it's there, and it's just, but you also knew to ask, and when you
Yeah.
asked, they were there. So that's what a lot of people forget, or don't even know that they can ask, so they
Exactly.
mm,
Then and also, going more to of why I do what I do is like we were saying earlier about how, sometimes in life we're not motivated for ourselves, but we are for other people. Well, think about your kids. As a mom, don't you want them to have the best of life? Don't you want them to have the opportunities that you never got to have? Or hope, I guess for me, what drove me, what motivated me is the idea of that I want my kids to grow up in a different kind of environment, in a way that teaches them self-love, self-acceptance, confidence, believing that in endless possibilities for their lives.
mm,
So I think that's another motivating factor for why I want to inspire moms, because everything you do, it it reflects onto them.
yeah.
They soak that up, whether you like it or not, the good and the bad, they take all of that. So how you show up as a mom will affect how they turn out. And I think about the kids because I know with me, I didn't grow up being taught about self-love or self-acceptance or confidence. I didn't grow up in that kind of environment. Therefore, it led me down really dark paths. So my hope in reaching moms will be that through their example, through their transformations, they will then become the moms that even their children need them to be. So the children thrive. So the children grow up and become amazing adults and, citizens of this world and just, parents themselves and know that there's endless possibilities to do what they love and not just go with what society tells you have to do in life.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so important.
Yeah.
All of that. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. And it's okay, I think. It's giving, as mums, and we have this, I can do it all. I can work, and I can look after the children, and I can run the house, and I can do the carpooling, and da, 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 da. I can do it all. And we don't have to do it all. It's okay to put your hand up sometimes and say, hey, who could share this with me, or who could help me? And it's okay to ask for help. And if that means momentarily having a guide, a coach, or someone like what you do, or what
Yeah.
we kind of offer, it's not a failure, because sometimes mums do think, oh, well, I should, air quotes
Hmm.
here, should be able to do this on my own. But we we are so disconnected from our village, our support people. And you might have, if you're lucky to have family nearby, that's great, but often people don't, and they're kind of muddling through, just trying to do it on their own. And
Yeah.
it's so different, and we do need the support. And sometimes it's just a little bit of just someone to listen to you, or just a few
Yeah.
tiny tips can just change things, right? It's
Yeah.
um yeah, it's a helpful tool, really, a resource, rather than just thinking, nope, I'm going to do it myself.
I'll put it this way. I would not be the woman I am today without all the incredible support that I've invested into myself through, and even just the people I've put myself out there for, to show up, to ask for help, to let them just connect with me and talk. Sometimes just you'd be surprised what you discover about your own self from just talking, talking.
Yes, so true.
So it's like if somebody's willing to give you that space to let you be heard, to let you be seen, and just let it
Mhm.
out, don't hesitate. Like that truly is where a lot of transformations comes from, is you just really making that decision to invest in yourself one way or another. make the decision to go out there and find the help, the community, the support, because there's so many people out there who's willing to give it. Like Maria says, like it's so many people out there who really will care about you, even if you feel like nobody would. Because
Mm.
I know I completely understand and know because I for so long did not have family and friends who supported me on my journey. I still don't have a lot of friends and family who support me on my journey. And yet I have the most amazing who were strangers, people who were strangers to me, who have been nothing but supportive, uplifting, encouraging, who have truly helped me in so many ways I'll never realize.
Mhm.
And it's out there. So if you haven't yet made that decision or put yourself out there to check it out and reach out to people, do it. You'll be surprised. Like you'll be blown
Yeah,
away by
yeah,
the
it
amount of
is.
support that's out there. Yeah.
It's so true. It's like magnets, you're
Yeah.
attracting yeah, and sometimes it's not your auntie, or it's not your older friend that's going to support you in that. It's a different phase and stage, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But and
Mhm.
being open to new people coming in and walking alongside you for a while, or a long while maybe, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's
Yeah.
great. How Tell us, Mary, how people could find out more about what you offer, and what's the best way to, be in touch with. I'll add everything to the show notes, obviously, but what's
Of
the,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really big on Facebook.
Mhm.
That's my place. I mean, you can look me up personally under Mary Dibble, or Mary D Coaching is my business page. I'm on Instagram too, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I'll share all that. Um, I'm I'm a newbie with some of these platforms, so I'm
Me
working on
too.
that. I
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
share it, I'm trying to get on there on that TikTok and stuff because man, it makes me feel so old school. But
I know.
I do love my Facebook. I do have a website, marydibblecoaching.com, as well. Check out my podcast, Radiant Mom Rising. It is all about empowering and inspiring moms on their journeys, because we all deserve the life that we desire. We
Mm.
all have it in us. We all deserve it. And if there's anything I can do to support you and help you to get going in that direction and stick with it, because I get it in the beginning stages. Like if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, if you're trying to make changes, create new habits, it's challenging. It's hard. Of course it is. That's why you need the support. But that's kind of what I do, is helping you, whether it's one-on-one coaching or coming through one of my programs. I just want to be there for you.
Mm.
Genuinely be there for you, because I believe in you and I know you got it and I know you got this.
Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, I can 100% vouch for that. You're just so genuine. And one day when I learn a bit more about how to get a bit organized with this podcast, I'll have more videos. So then people can actually see your face, and it's like you can't tell, but
Yes.
it's obviously genuine. Yeah. So Mary, I know I'm mindful of your time, and I'm so grateful you've spent this time with us. But
Yes.
before we do wrap up, could you share with us what's one thing or things that you do to keep your soul full?
So I would say, honestly, my connections with people through like my podcast, interviewing people really fills up my cup. So I
Mhm.
love getting out there and putting myself out there to meet new people and hear their story. I also am at a point in my life where I am taking my meditations more seriously, really getting more connected with myself and understanding, more about me and getting past the voices and
Mhm.
into the true side of the universe, my connection to it. I love it. I also love being able to, I have a very flexible life right now that I love. And so I get to truly enjoy my family time when I get my family time, but also get my me time when I need it and not feel guilty about it for once. So depending on what I want in a day or going on in my week, I make things happen and I stick to it and I don't apologize for it. I do it, I enjoy it, and I love the person I come out on the other side showing up, because I'm filled, I'm joyful, and I'm appreciative and grateful for where I'm at and what I get to do.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Such good reflections, but such amazing wisdom and advice in amongst that as well. So, Mary, this has been amazing. I could talk to you for ages, and who knows, we'll probably talk again.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but thank you so, so much for coming and joining us today. And I'll add all your details to the show notes so people can find out more about you, because I'm sure they're going to want to. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me, Maria. It's been a pleasure.
Incredible, isn't she? Such powerful lessons and kind of like a fairy tale ending, right? Well, it's not an ending, it's a continuation, but where she's at, just being open to listen to that higher power, trust herself, and those earth angels along the way, like Wendy and her mum, that were there to support her in her hour of need and to help her through. So for her to recognize that and accept the help as well, which is, gosh, it's so necessary. And you can see now why Mary does the work that she does today, because she just wants to help other women, other mums to live their best lives and find, bring out the best in people. So do go and listen to her podcast, Radiant Mum Rising. She shares more of her story in that, and it's powerful, really powerful. So I'll add all of her details to the show notes so you can find out more about her. She's a really beautiful, beautiful soul, and I'm grateful I had the opportunity to have a conversation with her. So you already know this, but many takeaways from the episode. I'll just give you a few. The blessing of having good friends and family support. Number 2, the importance of having a new partner that loves and accepts your children when you're going into a new relationship, how important that is. Number 3, we often get lost in the source of life. We tend to put ourselves in the back burner. We're made to believe that we aren't allowed to dream big, that we're supposed to struggle. But every person has what it takes. They have the most amazing potential, no matter where they come from, what they have been through. This does not have to define them. It does not have to stop them living the life they truly want. Number 4, keep learning and keep growing. Number 5, how we show up as a mum directly affects our children. Number 6, children thrive when their parents thrive. And number 7, transformations can happen when you ask and are open to receive help. We all deserve the life we desire. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I really appreciate you spending your time here listening to these amazing stories. And one of my missions or goals is to reweave that village, that community. And if you know of anyone that would, whose story, everybody's story is amazing. So it's more, maybe I should ask, if you feel brave enough to come and share your story, use your voice, and let us hear your journey, you would be so welcome. Or if you know of somebody else that maybe would like to come on the show and share their story, please do let me know. I also love the feedback that I'm getting. It helps me know if I'm on the right track or not, if it's landing for you all, or how I can tweak it or add to it, take away from it. I'm really, really open to that. So thank you for adding your comments and reviews, that sort of thing, or just private emails, messages, that all, I really appreciate them. And so please do keep doing that. It's good for me to know. Yeah. So have a beautiful, soul-filling week ahead, and I'll see you next time.